สวัสดีครับอาจารย์ครับผม
Hello, welcome to another Dhamma meeting where we will discuss the Buddhist practices of charity, morality, and meditation. Everyone who is interested is welcome to join. We're waiting for our first participant, so we'll see who comes in first. Professor Ken. Hello to you, Professor.
Good afternoon, Ajaan.
How's life been treating you? Or how
It's
should
been
defilement
quiet.
been treating you?
Yeah, it's been quiet. I've been practicing, so the defilements have become more obvious.
Yeah.
But now it's a quiet time for practicing more. It takes a few days to get back into practicing normally. I have one question, Ajaan.
Sure, go ahead.
With regard to, can you hear me okay, Ajaan?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, good.
Okay, question regarding Vedana. So since Vedana is one of the Nama Khandhas, does it refer to mental feeling, or also does it include physical feeling?
Well, feelings can be created through the body, the physical parts, or what you see, what you hear. When you see something you like, you get good feeling. When you see something you don't like, you have bad feeling. So it can be physical, or it could be, I mean, if somebody hit you, you get painful feeling, right? That's also, so it comes to the five sensual organs, basically. Whether to your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. And there's when we talk about mental one, this has to do with our thoughts, our memory. When we remember something bad, we can have bad feeling also. When we have some bad memories, bad experience, and we happen just to think about it, it can bring back the bad feeling that we had from that experience. So this is also uh, coming. This one come from straight from the Namakhandas, from perception of memory and from sankhara or thoughts. So there are actually about six points that feeling can arise from the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, and the mental part, which is usually the memory and the perception and the thinking, can create good memory or bad, a good feeling or bad feeling. If you think a good time you had last year celebrating Christmas, you can be happy, you can feel good. Or you have a bad experience with somebody, when you thought about it, you can have bad feelings. This is different from the dukkha. or no dukkha. This is the dukkha created by our defilements. And the cessation of dukkha happens when there is no defilement working. So this is different. This is the dukkha and the Four Noble Truths. It's not the sensation in the namakanda. It's in the mind itself, in the knowing itself. So what we want to tame or get rid of is the dukkha in the Four Noble Truths, the dukkha that arises from our desire or cravings. This we can eliminate. The Buddha and the noble disciple, they eliminated this dukkha or suffering or bad feelings from the mind. Those feelings that caused by the cravings or desire. But the sensation, the feeling, the good or bad feelings from the other six point, they cannot get rid of. They still have to experience them. When they have a stomach ache, they could feel the painful sensation from the body. When they see something not good, they can have the painful feeling. Like when you see some bright light or something like that can cause the eyes to have pain, and they can experience that also. Or when you hear a real loud noise, for instance, that hurts your ear, they can also feel that bad sensation. But the thing that they don't do is they don't react to them. They just accept them for what they are. But for non-enlightened person, they tend to react, whether by attraction or by aversion, by like or dislike. So this is the difference between the enlightened person and non-enlightened person. When you react with emotion, like or dislike, you are creating dukkha, you are creating suffering in the mind. Because when you have like, you will have desire, craving for what you like. And when you cannot get what you like, you can have disappointment or dukkha. This is caused by your defilement, your cravings. This the enlightened noble disciple, they don't do this. They just merely observe, acknowledge. Good, loud sound, bright picture, bright light, or something like that. Or painful, some stomach pain or muscle ache or something. They do experience this thing, but they don't react emotionally. They just merely observe. Clear? Is this clear to you now? When we talk about Vedana, we talk about the feeling that comes to the six sensual organs, 5 sensual organs, and one mental organs.
Yeah, that's clear to Ajaan.
These things sometimes you cannot prevent them from happening because you cannot control the sensual objects. There are various types of sensual objects, good ones, bad ones, and neutral ones. And when you see them, they create feeling, good feeling, bad feelings, or neutral feeling. But if you're just merely observing them, then they don't pose and they don't become a problem to you. You just let them, watch them, and treat them like with the 3 characteristics. They come and go. They are uncontrollable. They are just like the weather. Then you will not have no cravings for them, either aversion or attraction. So our goal is to maintain equanimity in the mind, not to react to anything. Good sensation, bad sensation, or neutral sensation. We're just merely observing them, accepting them for what they are, and treat them like the three characteristics. They come and go. They are impermanent. They are anatta. They are not under our control. If we try to manage and deal with them, we could get dukkha, or suffering. So if you have to live with someone, don't try to control them. Just let them be. It's your fault to have something to do with them in the first place. If you're smart, then you better stay alone.
Yeah, I don't have that problem, so it's okay.
Yeah. Then no problem then. For those people who have to live with other people, they will have to learn how to deal with these people.
Mm.
And the best way is just to leave them alone. Or if you have to make some adjustment, then you have to do it civilly, by talking and don't use emotion. Just converse and exchange ideas and see if it's possible to come to an agreement somehow. If you cannot have any agreement, maybe it's time for you to separate. But you don't have to get mad, get angry, or get sad or anything like that. Just be rational. Okay. What's
Thank you,
what,
Tanajan.
what's the problem behind this question? What did you not understand?
The thing I didn't understand was Vedana is one of the nama khandhas, the mental khandhas, and yet there's physical elements of feeling. So this is why I asked for the clarification.
Yes, they are initiated by the five sensual objects.
Yeah.
And also the mental thoughts and memory.
Yeah, this is very clear and very helpful, Tanjan.
Okay. And this sensation of Vedana is the ability of the mind. See, it comes with the mind. Only the mind have this ability. The body has no ability to experience any sensation. It doesn't have any sensation in the body. Although the sensation comes from the body, but the body itself has no awareness, so it doesn't know anything.
Okay.
Okay. All we have to deal with this Vedana is to know that they are impermanent, they are not under our control. If we want to control them, and if we could not do it, then we can get dukkha. We can become stressful, or sad, or angry. So we have to try to practice equanimity and just be merely an observer. Just barely know the coming and going of the sensation without reacting to them. That's the purpose of our practice, is to separate the mind from everything. Don't get involved with anything. Just be merely like a droplet of water on the leaf. They are in contact, but they are not immersed with each other. They are separated. The mind and all the things that happen that come into contact with the mind. The mind doesn't have to get involved with anything if the mind wants to be free from suffering. Okay.
Thank you, Tanajan. It's very clear.
All right. Next, Marco from the Netherlands.
Hi, Ajaan, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
I would like to report my homework and I have a couple of questions, please.
Please go ahead.
I realized that when my wife came back from Thailand, I stopped doing the 8 precepts and I noticed that I get drowsy again with my meditation. So I've made the link directly to food intake.
Yes.
And I'm realizing that when I read also in your book about the feeling of hunger or the feeling of wanting to eat, I don't even want to call it hunger because it's not hunger that we have here in the West, but that it's really a mental thing. And I want to, in the new year, I decided that I'm going to do 5 days of 8 precepts and then 2 days of not 8 precepts to kind of increase the level, but I don't want to scare my thoughts of saying like, okay, I'm going to do the 8 precepts from now on and then make it a burden on myself. I don't know if that sounds logical. I know that that's the kilesas as well, but I think that doing it gradually is better. Yesterday I did 8 precepts and I noticed my meditation in the evening was way better. I notice also that I'm feeling more the wish to do meditation because it makes me really feel calm. One of the things I've also realized about myself is in the past I would never admit or figure out that I'm arrogant, but I am really arrogant. And I realized that by listening to the book from Ajaan, that some people, when they have a feeling of getting a little bit of wisdom, that they want to talk about it. And I've been realizing that when people talk about certain things like meditation, that I want to get involved and I want to say what I know because I feel proud of what I know, which I know is not the right way to go. But by realizing that, I also realized that that's something that's very deep inside me. And I read somewhere about Vipassana and Vipassanu. And could you explain the difference between the two for me, please?
Well, Vipassana is true knowledge. It's Vipassana. Vipassana is false knowledge or delusion.
And so the knowing of the true knowledge and the not true knowledge, I have a feeling that that's what the kilesas bring about, right? But how do you distinguish the two? Is that just real knowing that you have to experience? So like coming to the consensus that you feel it's the kilesa that's trying to make me talk now. So you know that's actually not wisdom then, because it's just the kilesa trying to manifest itself, right?
True wisdom will keep your mind calm. False wisdom will keep your mind agitated.
Okay, so it's a lot of false wisdom then, because your mind gets agitated. So it's yeah, that's true. So it's the agitation that brings me that feeling that I want to interact with. I want to give my opinion about it, which automatically means it's false wisdom, because otherwise I would have been calm.
The cravings. True wisdom will suppress all cravings. False wisdom will actually initiate more cravings.
Oh, I have a lot of work out there. Do you have a suggestion for me to, like, what I'm doing now is when I'm noticing that I feel the need to want to say something or give my opinion, I'm not trying to suppress it. So I'm not equanimous at all about it. I have a feeling, and I notice that I'm happy that I'm suppressing the feeling, but then at the same time, because of happiness, it's again a craving, right? Because I'm feeling good about it. How do you get to the equanimous point?
Well, you just have to practice a lot more meditation to get into jhana. And once you have jhana, then the desire to talk will be less because you don't want to think much. Because you find that when you're not thinking, you feel better than thinking.
And that's what they mean in the book as well. I've been reading about the jhana and I analyze too much. So what happens is that I try to think like, okay, did I reach jhana, yes or no? And just asking the question, I know I didn't because I'm thinking. So, but when you know, and that intrigues me. So how do you know? How do you reach that point that you know you reached jhana?
Well, it's a different world from what you are experiencing right now. It's like being sent into space and all alone by yourself with nothing else around you, and you feel peaceful and content.
Yeah. And so that now I hear that, and then automatically I get all kinds of thoughts in my mind about what it would feel like. And that's again hampering me and being a hindrance because that's thoughts about what you're expecting, right? And that shouldn't be like that. I should calm the mind. So the more mindfulness training is key.
You just keep concentrating on your meditation object. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. And that's what I noticed in yesterday as well, because because of the no food intake, I was able to be aware and just focus on my breath, only on my breath, only on my breath. And that's when I started to feel good. So I at least feel that I wasn't thinking anymore. So that should be the right approach. And I had another question about sanya. So I understood that sanya is memory, right?
Memory
So
or perception.
memory or perception. So is it also involving So what I realized in the past, so I broke in the past the fourth precept so often because I was worried about what people would think about me. So what I was doing, I was fabricating what they would think, and I would be arrogant enough to think that I would know better what would be best for people to hear. Whereas I don't want to directly hurt them, but I also don't want to hurt myself because I was afraid of their reaction. Is that a sankhara, or is that also tied to sanya based on previous experiences?
Usually Sankara and Vijnana and Sanya usually go together. They work like left hand and right hand. They support
Okay.
each other.
So they are the key to all the imaginations that happen.
See, when you see a person, your memory starts to think what kind of person he is, what kind of, so you evaluate him through your memory, and then you decide what you should be talking to him, you know. So you need both of these things to work together. They usually go together, working together.
Okay. And is it so what I'm realizing now, or at least what I'm observing now, is that when I'm at work and I'm talking to colleagues, that I look differently at how people talk to me, and not as much as how they talk to me, but more about how I feel about what they're saying and my next response to what they're saying. And I'm attributing that to mindfulness. Is that a logical result of just trying to get deeper inside oneself to understand what one's feeling is, but then also being able to project onto the others what their intentions could be? That's the feeling I have now. I have the feeling that things are less or more transparent, I think the word is. Like you sense that people have a certain meaning with what they're asking, or you understand what they're actually trying to ask. And unfortunately, you live in an environment where there's a lot of things that are being said, but it's not real honesty, if you know what I mean. It's more like trying to be, I guess they call it civilized, but it's not the true feeling that's behind it. At least that's what I'm perceiving. And then I'm realizing, okay, but that's my thought. It's not their thought. So I'm creating this, but it tends to be true. So I kind of boast my own, I don't know, awareness about that. But I feel that that's a result of the practice that I'm doing. And so the key is for me, and again, I guess I'm looking for guidance here, is to keep on meditating so that more calmness arises, so that all these thoughts go away. The thoughts need to be stilled.
Yes, I think you should worry less about other people, what they say or what they think, and just worry more about what you think. And the less you think, the better it is for you. So try to think less and less, and don't worry about what other people might think about you or what kind of message they want to send it to you.
And the funny thing is, that is exactly what I've been doing, and that's what's causing my thoughts to actually go more internally, because that's changed my behavior at work now. And that's what I'm realizing as well, that work is kind of interfering with everything, because I have to think about things that happen at work, and I have to think about what the next steps that are there. So it's interesting that this, yeah, the not thinking is the red line of my life at this point. At least I'm realizing it, I think. Yeah, thank you, Tanaja. And that's one of my key parts that I want to focus on a lot, just to not think, just let happen, and just be aware of what's happening, be aware of what I'm thinking, and just keeping the precepts really. And that's one of the things that I'm happy about now. I really have a feeling that I'd rather die than break any of the precepts, because that's the feeling that I have inside now. I don't want any reason to have to break a precept. So whatever my behavior is, if it's wrong or right, for other people, it's about me. I have my precepts, I have to follow them no matter what. And if that means confrontation, I just have to deal with the confrontation as is, or I keep quiet, or just let people say what they want to say. But I don't want to have to worry anymore about what people think, because that's, like you said, Tanajan, it's what I've been worried about all my life. What do people think of me? What do people want from me? How do I treat them in such a way that I get what I need? And that's not the right way to do it, because you let your life be lived by other people, whereas you're doing it yourself. It's just suffering. It's all suffering.
Yeah, what actually affects you is your own action. What
Yeah.
other people say or do to you doesn't really have much effect on what you are or what you will be. What you are, what you will be, it depends on what you think, what you say, and what you do. So just focus on what you think, what you say, and what you do. If it's according to what the Buddha teaches us to think and say or do or not, like keeping the precepts, for instance. If we keep the precepts, then we are okay. If people don't dislike you because you don't drink with them, that's fine. Let them dislike you.
Yeah.
If they ask you, let's go have a drink, and say, no, I'm keeping the 5 precepts.
Yeah.
Just say sorry. That's all. Just be nice and
Exactly.
And if the person get angry or whatever he say, just let him say it, and just shrug off and say.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things that I realize more now. I have to just let people be. I think last week we discussed the same thing, that I worry about what other people are thinking. I should not worry about that at all.
Long time Mahaprabhu used to say that he cares more for the Dhamma than he cares for other people's.
He was very eloquent in that.
Yeah.
From what I read, I'm very happy to read his books. Actually, that's my next question as well. Do you have a? I know that Luangta had an Asuba book, but it's only available in Thai. Do you know if there's an English version of that as well?
Well, I haven't seen the English version yet, but usually we sometimes just look at the photos in the book.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. So my wife has that book, and I've been looking at the pictures, but automatically I see the text next to it, and I get curious, like, okay, what does it say? What does it say? And I don't want to bother all the time to translate for me.
Maybe one day Google Translate will help you do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but Ajaan, that's the other thing. I've been trying to stay away from the internet as much as possible, and I've been really happy doing so. I've been not following the news. I've not been following anything, and I've been really peaceful because of that, because I know how fast the mind goes. Now, this was one of my biggest issues as well. I got sidetracked, and actually it was like boredom that brought you, okay, let's watch YouTube videos all day long, and then in the end you just don't know what you're doing anymore. I've taken that away now, and I don't want to actually go to Google anymore unless I have to for my work for whatever reason. So I try to stick away from that actually. And then if there's anything that's needed like that, I would either or ask my wife, or just read real books. It's like, okay, it's fine. Then no distractions, no commercials, no nothing. Because I don't want to be me, let's say a year ago or 2 years ago. I don't want that anymore. It can't be like that. That feels good. And also another question that I had for you is, I know that a lot of your books have been translated to English, and I don't know why, but the thought came to mind, would it be okay in the future, if I have more time to do so, when I'm more capable to do so, to translate your books into Dutch? Because I know that your books have helped me so much. And I think that it will be beneficial to others as well. But one of the concerns that I have about it, there's a lot of terminology, of course, which can't be translated properly into Dutch because the words just don't exist really. But would that be allowed? Would that be okay? Is that proper to do or not? Or
Oh yes, I have many people translating my book into different languages: Chinese, Indonesian, German, French. So just do it. Do the best as you can. Try not to distort the meaning of the word. That's all.
okay. Because I've realized that reading your books has helped me out a lot, and there's one sentence that really kept with me very a lot, is your sense of going outside and just following your own path in the way that you've done. Also the quote that you've never left the monastery. It's for me, it's like, yeah, that's the only way to reach that, is to really be confirmed that what you've reached is the right thing. And I just want to reach that point where I don't have to, is not the right word, but just be confident, like, okay, I understand what everything is. I understand what suffering is, and I understand how it goes away, and now I'm peaceful. I think that that's a goal now. And I know that my work is not allowing me to do so. And I'm the one that chooses to work. I'm the one that chooses to have the normal layperson life. I'm the one that did all these things because of all the things that happened until this point. But it's up to me to write my path from here. And if I get the right knowledge now, if I do the right steps now, in the past 6 months, I know that there's quite some steps that I've taken that feel right. So I know that I need to follow this path, but it's not going to come by itself. And that's what I really love about Longta's books. Like, you have to put in the perseverance, you have to put in the brass knuckles. Yeah, put in the effort, and I really enjoy doing so. And I think that that's a good point. That's a good thing to keep up with.
Go through the pain, no gain.
Exactly. That I love that one. So yeah. So thank you, Ajaan, for also pay my respects to you. Thank you for the guidance that you've always given, and always take the time for people to listen. I'm really grateful for that.
Okay, you're welcome. See you again next week.
See you next week. Thank you, Ajaan.
Okay. Next, outsourcing from Penang, Malaysia.
Good evening, Ajaan. May I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
I have pain in my knee. Normally, the pain is very, very slight. But the minute I do sitting meditation, the pain will come. Then sometimes it's very distracting. So I observe the pain. I observe the arising and the ceasing of the pain for some time without thinking. And then after that, I go back to my breath. Then I went into samadhi. Some other times, when my concentration is better, I just ignore the pain and then go into samadhi. Are these two methods the right way to deal with pain?
Well, the goal is to go into samadhi. So whichever way you can go into samadhi with, that's the right way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ajahn.
Different people might have different method of calming the mind, but the goal is to calm the mind, to give the mind become still and peaceful and happy. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
That's why they have 40 different meditation subjects for you to choose from to calm your mind with. So whichever method that you find, maybe there are more than 40, because the 40 might just be printed in the text, but by experience, there might be many more personal experience. Each people might have different way of treating their mind, calming their mind. So whichever way you can calm your mind with, then that's the right way for you.
Okay.
But
Thank you very much.
without the external source, okay, not like drinking and to calm your mind with, or taking drugs or something like that. But something in yourself, you have to use the inner resources to calm your mind with, no external sources.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Next, Rohini, I'm sorry, from the UK.
Good evening, Ajahn.
Yes, what can I do for you?
I just continue to practice as Ajahn advised us to do. So,
yeah, just keep doing it. Be patient. Sometimes you get good results, sometimes you don't. But this is normal.
Yeah. Although I didn't get any results yet, but I feel my mind is much calmer than before. So I chant 32 body parts. Just chant without contemplating, and just to calm my mind, and then continue with my breathing meditation.
Can you chant them forward and backward?
Only forward I did. I didn't do backward.
Try to do the reverse also. It forces you to have more concentration, more mindfulness to do it.
Yeah, okay, I will do that. So I think I feel, because when I chant 32 body parts, my mind, it prevents my mind from wandering, and I can meditate better after that.
That's right.
Yeah. And yeah, can I clarify something? Does every thoughts, whether it is good or bad, due to defilement, produce sankhara?
Not every thought are produced are defiled. Some thoughts are driven by Dhamma. Some thoughts are driven by defilements. You just have to know which is which.
Is it like trying to have the certain food that we desire, and that also has a negative effect on the path? Or
Can you repeat again, please?
yeah, is it like trying to have certain food that we like, food?
Okay.
Yeah, we that is due to defilement, or that food that we desire. Does this have a negative effect on the path?
Well, desire for food is defilement, but
Yeah.
taking food because the body needs the food is not defilement. It's like taking medicine. If you have to take medicine, this is not defilement because you don't take it because out of craving or desire. You take it because you have to take care of your body. Then this is not considered to be defilement. So if you do things on the need to do basis, then this is not defilement.
Okay.
If you do things on the basis of craving or liking, then this is defilement.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay.
So if you like a certain food and you crave for it, this is defilement. And the way to counter it is to eat something that you don't like instead, to punish your defilement with.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Next, Aminji from Sri Lanka. Any questions?
Hello, Ajahn. Yes. Hello, Ajahn.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. Hope you too. Ajahn, I have some questions. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Ajahn, I have seen some Buddhists visiting the graves of their relatives on death anniversaries and so on to light candles and pay respect to their dead relatives. How Buddhist is this practice? I just want to know, should Buddhists do such things at all?
Well, it's not a matter of whether you should or not should not. It's a matter of whether you want to or not. If you want to, you can do it. If you don't want to, you don't have to do it.
Okay. Will that make any good? I mean, to the dead? No, it's we don't.
Well, it depends on whether the dead needs your help or not, for instance. If the dead needs some merit from you, then you make some merit and send it to them.
Do we need to visit the grave for that? No.
Not necessarily.
But no harm doing that, no?
Yeah, if visiting it makes you have wisdom, for instance, you are contemplating on death when you go to the grave, then it might remind yourself that one day you'll be there also. So then you will then try to make the best of the time you have before you die. Sometimes we forget dying, we forget death. We thought we're gonna live forever. So we tend to do things that is not really good for our mind, just good for the defilement. But when we see that in the future you will be in the cemetery yourself, and all the things that you do with your defilement will not bring you any benefit to your future life. So maybe you want to change your attitude, your doing things. Instead of doing for your defilement, maybe you should do more for your mind. Prepare yourself for the future birth, for instance. Like do more precept, keep more precept, do more charity things, and meditate. Yeah. These are good things for the mind. That will send the mind to a better birth.
Okay.
So it's like using, it's like doing death contemplation by actually when you go to the cemetery, when you're visiting the dead. It's a good practice if you are if you practice for the suppression or elimination of your defilement.
Okay. Okay. Because why I asked was I have seen some people go there to light candles and pay respect.
Well, people sometimes they go there just because they miss the person that passed away and wants to be near them again. And instead of bringing them any peace or happiness by visiting, sometimes they feel sadder when they go. So this is not the right way of visiting the graves. The right way is to produce wisdom from visiting, to remind yourself that life is impermanent, your body is impermanent. It's from the four elements. And it will go back to the four elements.
And the
Then-
mind is else. Yes.
Right. So this will then create a sense of what you call readiness to pass away, and also prepare yourself for a better future. If you believe that the mind doesn't die with the body, and it's the mind who will go up and take new birth, go into a higher or lower realm of existence.
Yeah. And
Then you might commit yourself to more practices of charity, morality, and meditation.
Okay, Tanajan, and should they also know that the dead person is not there because their mind is elsewhere, only the body is there in the graveyard?
Well, they should know that if they're Buddhist, you know. But if they're not Buddhist, they might not know because no one teaches them that.
Okay. Okay, Tanajan. Okay, thank you. And my second question is, Tanajan, now we have read that Prince Siddhartha entered a state of jhana as a child during a particular harvesting ceremony. And I think while his father, King Suddhodana, participated in the event, he was placed under the shade of a tree. I mean, Prince Siddhartha, and observers noticed the young Siddhartha seated cross-legged in a deep meditative state. Must be he had entered a jhanic state, and this suggests that he had likely practiced jhana in his previous lives. And I'm just curious to know, Tanajan, whether Prince Siddhartha had already attained a certain state, such as Sotapanna, when he was born into this world?
Not at all. He had no inkling of the Four Noble Truths. His mind entered into jhana through the strength of his mindfulness, not wisdom.
Okay. That his mind was in a jhanic state when he was a child.
Yeah, in his past life, he was an experienced meditator, and this capability follow the mind, come with the mind. So when he's left alone and nobody to disturb him, then his mind automatically go into jhana.
Okay. Then he was in his first jhana as a child, or was he can't be on the fourth stage, no? Just must be on his first level of jhana.
I think usually the fourth jhana.
Fourth jhana.
The first, second, and third jhana are not as significant like the fourth jhana.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter whichever stage he's in. But his mind becomes calm, peaceful all by itself when he's left alone. No one around him to bother or to disturb him.
Anajan, I thought like if a person can enter his fourth jhana, he has at least become a Sotapanno and maybe he has entered the path.
No, because there were lots of people who enter into a different level of jhana before
Even
the Buddha, before he became enlightened. This practice of jhana exists long before the Buddha came into existence.
Okay, Tanajan. Okay, Tanajan, my next question is actually a friend of mine told me that she practiced Kasina meditation during her school days by focusing on a candle, Tanajan. And she said her memory improved significantly, and because she practiced this meditation continuously, she began achieving high marks in exams. But anyway, she also experienced something unsettling. She said she started foreseeing events before they happened. For example, she said she foresaw herself in an accident, and later had a narrow escape in her real life. Whatever she sees later, it happens in her real life. So several similar incidents occurred, she said, and then she got scared and stopped meditating, stopped doing this kasina meditation. This happened while she was in school. I just want to know, Ajaan, can such experiences occur during kasina meditation? Similar ones that happened to her?
Well, kasina meditation is just like anapanasati meditation. It's just only a different kind of method, that's all. Instead of focusing on your breath, you're focusing on the candle light. This can also calm your mind and concentrate in your mind. And maybe she apparently might have some psychic power with her mind already. So when her mind becomes calm, then she starts to be able to see things that you would not normally be able to see. So she might have some psychic power. But her mind is not strong enough with wisdom, so she doesn't want to see things that is not attractive. So she become afraid.
So she shouldn't have stopped it, Ajaan, because she's...
Psychic power is not good for enlightenment either. If she wants to use concentration, that's good. That's fine. Focus on the candlelight, like focusing on the breath. But if she wants to go into the psychic path, then this is not good, because the psychic path doesn't lead you to enlightenment.
And in Sri Lanka, we have 2 stages of exams in school level called ordinary level exam and advanced level. She said she practiced it up to O levels, ordinary level exam, and she used to score very high marks because she started foreseeing things, and because actually these things later happened to her, she got scared and she stopped it. And after that, she said she could not score high marks for her A levels. And actually, she did science and she could not become a doctor. She could not enter the medical college. She ended up as a lawyer. So very recently, she told me, if I continue doing this meditation, I could have very well become a doctor, but I got scared and stopped it. That's why I couldn't continue I couldn't score high marks.
Yes, because when she's not meditating, she doesn't have the mindfulness that can be used in her study. See, when you have strong mindfulness, then you will be, when you study, your mind doesn't run around here and there. You stay with the thing that you're studying, so you can remember more if you have stronger mindfulness. So what she lacked or what she lost was the mindfulness that she gained from meditation, from watching the candle. So if she wants to practice mindfulness, she can still watch the candle and try to stop the mind from going to the other knowledges. If the mind start to go away from the candle, bring it back and keep focusing on the candle only, then the mind cannot go into psychic mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. What she said was this forcing this started happening after she started doing this kasina meditation. In dreams, she foresaw certain things, and those things really happened in actual lives later, such as this accident. So this didn't happen during she was doing this kasina meditation, like when she was observing the candle. Maybe during the period she practiced this kasina meditation, while in sleep, she saw certain things such as accidents. Then in real life also the same thing happened.
Yes, this is possible, see, because she have this ability. So whenever the mind is calm enough, but not too concentrated with something, then the mind can wander and go into the psychic path. But if you have strong mindfulness and force the mind to stay with the candle or with the breath, then it will not be able to go into psychic mode.
Okay. And she also told me that once she saw in a dream she meeting with an accident, so she got scared and she stayed at home that particular day without going to school, because I think she used to take school bus to go to school, because then what happened was, when she stayed at home, her father met with an accident, and she particularly got scared because when she forces these things, and when she started taking action, and when she stayed at home, her father fell into trouble and he met with an accident. So when she tried to stay away from those things, one of her family members fell into trouble, she said. So that's one of the.
This might be coincidental more than
Okay.
actual. Just so it just happened that he has to have
Okay.
some problem with himself, not
Okay.
because of
this.
of her action or inaction. You know.
Okay, Tanaja. Then she should have continued that meditation, no?
But she just have to know how to do it properly. Try to keep the
Okay.
mind with the candle all the time. Don't let the mind go into psychic mode.
Oh, okay. So this happens with kasina meditation as well as when doing anapanasati or any meditation.
Yes. Usually
Okay.
you enter into jhana first. Then after that, if you have psychic ability, then the mind will then go into psychic mode after you got into jhana.
Okay, Tanaja.
But if you have no psychic ability, then you just stay in jhana. You don't go into psychic mode. And only very few people who can go into psychic mode. About 5% of meditators, from what Ajaan Suchart said. Only about 5% of people meditate who have this special ability to be able to contact with the dead or contact with the devas or to recollect past life, for instance. Not every meditator will have this ability. So if you don't have it, then it's good for you, because then you will not be distracted out of the path toward enlightenment. Because sometimes when you get this psychic mode, you enjoy it. It's like a special power for you, and you can then feel that this is make you feel more superior to other people, and then you might become addicted to these psychic practices, and then you will not have the ability to develop wisdom, because your mind doesn't have enough equanimity to resist your defilement.
Okay.
When you go into psychic mode, you don't have equanimity. If you stay in jhana, you will have equanimity. So if you want to go on the enlightenment path, you have to develop a lot of equanimity. Because when you develop wisdom, contemplate the Four Noble Truths, you'll find that suffering is caused by your cravings. And if you don't have enough equanimity, you will not be able to stop your cravings. Okay.
Yeah. Then while meditating, we should be able to stay focused. Like if it's a candle, we have to maintain focus. No, we should not think about other things. That's
right.
Okay. Yeah, Thanaja, now my last question is, how should one celebrate the New Year according to Buddhist principles? I mean, with so many festivals, parties, and 31st night celebrations, should Buddhists participate in these events, or is it better to avoid them altogether?
Just celebrating like we do now. We have Dhamma discussion or practice meditation. Lots of temples in Thailand now have the countdown, meditation countdown. Instead of counting the numbers and do the drinking, they do chanting during the countdown.
It's good days. It's good. That's all I have.
So just practice more, especially on special day like this. If you have the time, then practice more precept, practice more charity, practice more meditation.
And Thanajan, I have one more question. Like when I was meditating, maybe a few days back, I almost felt a dead relative, in the sense I never had that person on my mind, not even a slightest memory of her, because she passed away years back. Then I just felt like that person was standing or staring at me when my eyes were closed when I was meditating. I'm just wondering whether she's in need of any merit or something. I don't know. Somehow, um, I just came to my mind. I almost saw her. Like I just felt that she's standing next to me. But anyway, my eyes were closed. Like, is it just a thought, or I'm just wondering whether she's in need of merit or something?
It's probably your mental fabrication.
Fabricate, but I never had even a slightest thought of her on my mind.
If you want to find out whether it's real or not, you have to be able to talk to her, communicate with her.
She's dead now.
I know, but her spirit isn't dead. If she's the real spirit that coming in contact with you, then you should be able to talk to her and maybe talk about something that only the two of you know, for instance.
Okay.
Then this might be real. Okay.
Okay.
But if it's just a flash of image or something like that, this is usually tend to be our own mental fabrication.
Okay.
So just treat it like anicca, dukkha, anatta. They come and go, and just forget about it. Once they come and when they're gone, just forget about it.
Then I thought of passing merit to her, but
I just remember. Yeah,
you can
do that just in case maybe she is real, but she's not able to talk to you. So you just do some charity and then dedicate the merit from charity for her.
Okay.
This is usually common practice in Buddhist countries. When we dream of dead people, we usually go to the temple and do some charity, and then dedicate the merit that we get from the charity for the dead, for the departed. Just in case they are waiting for our merit, our help. Okay. And the person who makes the charity also benefit, because you don't dedicate all the merits from the charity you make. You can only partially dedicate part of the merit. The majority of the major portion of the merit still remain with you, belongs to you. So maybe it's a good way to stimulate you into do some charity work when you dream of dead people. Okay, understand?
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. That's all I have for today.
Okay.
Wish you a very happy new year. Wish you health and happiness.
Okay.
Thank you. Nice talking.
If you want your new year to be better, you have to practice more. That's all.
Thank you. Will do.
You cannot wish for it. You have to do it.
I know.
Okay.
I'll do it.
More charity, more precepts, and more meditation. Then your new year will be a better year than this year. Okay. Sadhu, sadhu. Okay, next Philip from Malaysia.
Greetings, Ajaan.
Who's behind you? Oh,
Adeline.
your partner. I haven't seen her for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm always listening inside the room, but since today is a holiday tomorrow, I can come in and listen and pay my respect to you.
Good to see you.
Ajaan, I have a question about the practice. I hope I can articulate it correctly and well. Okay, I've been trying to push myself to sit longer, to have longer sittings, mindfulness and things like that. And over some period of time, I feel that maybe sometimes there's a plateau that I can't pass. You know, maybe I can't sit longer than a particular, maybe 5, 6, 8 hours or whatever it is, right? So what happened was I think maybe last week or I decided to say, okay, let me take maybe a day off, but which I don't do it so intensely. It's like but I still do my meditation, and after that, when I return the next day, the meditation session becomes deeper, longer, more focus and things like that. I mean, the best way I can describe it is like is if you're practicing and going to the gym, and then you're pushing yourself on the track and field or in the gym, and sometimes you just can't go beyond a certain level, and your coach will say, hey, take a day off, but you still come in and maybe do a bit of light walking and things like that. So my question is it a advisable thing to do, or should I just continue to just push it, or it's just my defilements just saying that, hey, maybe if you just quit and then and take a day off and then come back later.
Well, there are ways of stimulating your practice to a higher level. Like you have to maybe change location of your practice. Like if you live surrounding with people and things and activities, you might not have much more time to practice. So maybe you should go into seclusion, be alone. Then you will then have more time to do your mindfulness and meditation. That's why monks sometimes they leave the temple, monastery, and go wandering alone in the forest to get a new environment for them for practice. And also the environment that you go into practice can also stimulate your mindfulness practice. If you're surrounded by danger events, by animals or whatever, then it will make you become more mindful, more careful. Or like if you go meditate in the monastery, in the cemetery, for instance, then you might start to have fear, and you then have to use mindfulness to be able to cope with the fear. If you cannot calm your fear down, then you will not be able to remain in the cemetery. But if you can remain in the cemetery by suppressing your fear with stronger mindfulness, then you are developing more. You have stronger mindfulness from the location that you go to practice with. So this is what you have to do. You have to change location, change the surrounding, make it more harder for the mind. Like we said, no pain, no gain. So you have to go into more physical pain or physical fear. Then it will then force your mind to have to deal with a different situation, a new situation that requires more mindfulness in order for you to be able to cope with the surrounding, the new surrounding. Or you have to do some fasting for it. Fasting also can change the condition. It forces you to have more suffering, more pain, more physical pain. And then if you want to be able to withstand this physical pain, then you have to use mindfulness. So you have to practice more mindfulness to calm your mind down to a level that it will then be able to accept the physical pain. So these are the method that we use in practices. We have to, once we stay in a certain place and we become used to it, and it doesn't help us with our meditation, then we have to go change the condition of the surrounding. If we cannot go away to be alone in the forest, like I was in the monastery, and the only way to stimulate more practice is to do fasting. So I do more fasting that way. Or at night, I can come walk around in the monastery inside without using any torchlight. Just walk in the dark, forcing yourself to be more careful or more mindful. So these are the things that you might have to invent to be able to stimulate or to push your mindfulness to become stronger and higher.
I understand, Ajahn. So change the environment, change the situation.
Get out of your comfort zone, because when you're in comfort zone, you become lax in your mindfulness because you don't have to worry about much anything. But when you're in a discomfort zone and your mind is not happy, then you have somehow to use mindfulness to calm this unhappy mind to make it become happy again.
Understand, Ajahn.
Okay.
Understand, Ajahn.
But if you find that by relaxing your practice can then stimulate your practice, then that's okay also. But I just don't see how.
No, when I meant relaxing, it doesn't mean that I go for sensual activities or whatever. Means maybe instead of sitting for 5 hours, I just do like for 2 hours or 3 hours for that particular day, and then next day go back into just a normal practice again.
Okay, it might be possible because you might be overworked your mind, and then you have to give it time to relax. Once it has refreshed itself, it might then have the strength to go and attack and do what you used to do and get some result from that. So it's a matter of trial and error for every practitioner. You have to try and find out which is the way to stimulate your practice.
Because this was the first time I actually tried it. I mean, I'm not too sure was it by accident or I think, and then when I subsequently went back the next day, I was like, huh. I mean, I didn't realize this. I mean, this day and the next day after that, the sitting was longer. The session was, I mean, the sessions are more intense, more deep. The concentration longer. Holding the breath. Not holding the breath. I mean, breathing, observing the breath but at a more sharper, more intense sensation, and the mind goes into calm faster. So I mean that was I mean I think it was by accident. I mean I was like doing and I said, nah, this is not working out. Maybe I just need to do a kind of a cheat day or a 1 day off and see what happens. So
Okay, just do it. If you can get better result by doing this, then it's okay. Maybe sometimes your mind is overworked and doesn't have the strength to push itself through. So it might make a little recess. Like take 5 when you play sports. Sometimes you feel too tired. Let's take 5.
yes,
5-minute break, and then you get some more strength. Then you come back and do, and then you might be able to do it better than without the breaks.
yes.
That's why they have boxing. When they're boxing, they have to rest, right? You box for 3 minutes, and you rest for 1 minute, and then you come back and box again.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, something like
all right.
yeah.
So try and do it.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be able. You have to dare to try and dare to be mistake sometimes, but mistake with wisdom. To know that you're not doing the right thing is wisdom. But sometimes you don't know that until you try it, right? Let's try it this way, see how it works. If it doesn't work, then you say, okay, this is not the right method for you. If it works, then say, okay, this is the right method for me. Then stick to it.
Yeah, and as of lately, I mean using Buddha since I came into this met Panajan and things like that. Recently, I've been also doing the 5 daily recollection. The one where the monks they chant. I am the nature. I'm the nature to age. I'm not beyond aging. I'm the nature of getting sick. I'm not getting sick and of the nature of dying. So I've been actually repeating that mantra.
Recollection, yes.
The five recollection. I'm the air, my karma, and so and so forth. So it's just something newer rather than ETP or the Buddha. It's, as you say, maybe change the condition slightly.
Yes, it also gives you the wisdom. See, this is more wisdom contemplation. When you think of anicca, when you think of aging, sickness, and death, you're actually developing
And things like
wisdom.
and today, so happen is it's New Year, and when someone wish me, the immediate thought that came to my mind is that yeah, a bit closer to death. I don't think it was actually a very nice thing to say, but I was like saying, yeah, a bit close, 1 more minute, 1 more minute, 1 more hour, another more day closer to death.
That was actually my topic today when I give the Dhamma talk this afternoon.
Yeah.
Say this is the last day of the year. It means you have lost 1 year of your life.
Yes.
You have less time to live, so you better be more be more diligent. You should try to put more effort to do the right thing for your mind, and not wasting your time with your defilements. Yeah. So it's good to think of that, because then it reminds you that your time on this earth is limited and it's getting less and less. So if you have something good that you have to do for yourself, better do it now. Don't procrastinate. Don't put it off until tomorrow or next week, because time waits for no one, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Good. This is what Buddhists should recollect every day. The five things, like aging, sickness, death, separation from the one you love.
Yes.
And you are your own. The karma that you do, you will be the one who will pay the consequence.
Yes. Born of the karma, heir to your karma.
Yeah. You do good, you'll reap good karma, good consequences. If you do bad, you'll reap bad consequences. This is the basic teaching of the Buddha. The law of karma and the Four Noble Truths. And when you recollect aging, sickness, and death, this is the first noble truth of suffering. Aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering, separation from the one you love is suffering. So you're teaching your mind the Four Noble Truths, the first noble truth.
And it's, I mean, I can still remember, I mean, when we're talking about aging, sickness, and death, we know it from a theoretical point, and I mean, Tan Ajaan, I've been following you for quite a while right now, and I remember especially during the COVID time, when I was outside trying to buy food, and there was actually death around. I saw a lot of actually people dying, funerals. I think during my younger days, I was a bit squeamish about it, about death, and to an extent superstitious, but when I finally saw people dying left, right, center, it hit me, and they say, you could be dead one day, tomorrow, next second, and it's not so much of a theoretical anymore. When it hits you, and you're like, I realized it.
Yes, that's what happened to the Buddha when he went outside of the palace, and he saw an old man, a sick man, and a dead man. He draw it back to himself. That he also will be old, he will be sick, and he will die. So sometimes you have to go see the real thing to really make an impact on your mind. By just reading about it or thinking about it, it's not yet strong enough. So sometimes you have to go visit a cemetery, or go to see a dead body, for instance, or go visiting some sick people in the hospital, visiting some old people in the old age home to see how they are like. Then you reflect back to you and think, I also will be like this one day.
Yes. Yes.
then it will make you want to do something for yourself. How to get rid of this dukkha of suffering when I get old, get sick, and die. And how should I do? How will I be able to do it by preventing myself from ever getting old, getting sick, or die again? By stopping rebirth, for instance. So it's a good contemplation, but you have to go see the real thing also to have the real impact on your mind.
Ajahn.
Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Next step from Oregon.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I wanted to talk about faith and how I feel like I have a lot of faith in the Dharma. This past year, you taught me how to be more mindful, and it's made the practice just even more intense. And I just feel really safe within Buddhism. Like it feels like a container almost. Does that make sense? Like the Westerners always talk about
Yes.
going to
Dhamma is your refuge. If you have Dhamma,
yes.
your mind become protected from suffering.
Yes, I
from
feel
stress.
so not quite. I don't like safe's not the word, but I feel really
Secure,
I guess, I don't know.
stable.
Yes. And that's I don't know. I just feel like I have such faith in the Dharma, and it just feels really good. I don't know. Yeah.
But faith itself alone is not good enough. Faith has to be based on practice. Then this will be real faith.
Yeah.
If faith just based on study, it can be still not real faith.
Which was what it was before. I really I had like this wisdom, but now I have this like I just feel it very deeply. And yes.
Yes. It has to come from practice.
Yeah.
When you get result from your practice, then you are very sure that this is the right thing, the real thing.
Yes. Yeah. And that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just thank you very much. And I also want to say thank you to your admins. They're just, I always forget to say that. They're just wonderful. So thank you for.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. And
thank you.
We're happy to be of service to everybody.
You guys are amazing. You are big service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. You're welcome. Next, Kokseng from Singapore.
Good evening, Prajan. Yeah. This evening, I'd like to ask Prajan a few questions. First, I just narrate my experience yesterday. Yesterday, I was yesterday early morning, so I'm able to sit until about 1.5 hours, and then the pain comes, and I use anatta, and then after that, I take a peek at my watch, and I see that I've been sitting for 1.5 hours. Then the next thought comes to my mind: how long do I, even though I am able to so-called endure the pain, but at the same time, I'm also thinking, oh, how long do I need to endure the pain before? So the question is, but from the earlier questions, is it that I have to endure the pain and sit until I get into jhana, Prajan?
You sit until you can live with the pain, whether in jhana or not in jhana. You have no more aversion for the pain. You can live with it. Treat it like your friend. Treat the pain is like your old friend.
Okay. Meaning physical pain is there, but the mind doesn't mind having the physical pain.
That's right.
Okay.
Have no aversion for it.
Okay. Get it. Then my second question, Project, about the I think 2 weeks back, I think you were mentioning about not sitting using cushion. So I try not to use cushion to sit on the floor, and also another reason that triggered me, try not to use cushion It's because my wife always complain the cushion is dirty and so on, and needs to throw away, but not throw them away because sometimes I still need to use it to act as a cushion between my my body and the floor, which may be cold. And Prajan, you were saying without cushion, we are practicing no pain, no gain. And you also mentioned something like Buddha also mentioned something about along this line of no pain, no gains. So just on check, Prajan. With all respect, just in in what Sutta did Lord Buddha mentions something about no pain, no gain that we can advance in our practice?
I cannot refer you to any suttas because I didn't learn it from the suttas. I learned it from the experience.
Okay, yeah.
I find that when I have more discomfort physically, my practice tend to be better. When I'm comfortable physically, my practice tend to be bad. So it's from experience, not from any sutta.
I see. Okay.
But it just happened to also to happen to be the same as with other teachers or the Buddha himself. But I didn't read it from the Buddha or from the sutta. I read from the mind, your own practice, from my own practice.
Okay. Yeah. Then Prajan, my third question is about earlier the sutta mentioned about one becomes disenchantment arises. So is this enchantment arises? Is it some similar to like one wants to stay alone, be solitude, and do not want to have a partner, and so on?
Yes, because you see with wisdom that having a partner is painful than being alone. So it's better to be alone than to have a partner.
Okay. Okay, understand.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Not disenchantment because you get tired of this person, so you go look for a different person, and this is not that type of disenchantment.
Is that one sees that is the disadvantage of
You see the three characteristics in that person. See dukkha from that person. See that person is unreliable as a source of happiness for you.
Okay.
Then you don't want to live with that person.
Okay, understand.
Okay. Is that all the question you have tonight?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Prajan.
Okay. Good. We'll go to New Zealand. I think you have passed the midnight yet. Have you passed the midnight hour yet?
Hi, good evening, Chandra. Yes, we are in 2025 now. Happy New Year.
Okay. I'm still about 3 hours away.
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
Yeah. Dhamma discussion. Listen to Dhamma. That's good. Yeah. Question, Ajaan. Regarding Sammaditi, right view, is it correct to say that for us, we are not noble disciples, we haven't entered stream meaning. So for us, it's every view is a Michaditi, is a not right view. Is that
it's right view, but it's borrowed from other people, not our own yet. We haven't seen it ourselves yet.
Yeah.
But we borrowed from the Buddha that Four Noble Truths is from the Buddha. We haven't seen the Four Noble Truths actually in our mind yet.
Yeah.
If we can see the Four Noble Truths within our mind and we are able to suppress the dukkha that arises within our mind by the practice of mindfulness and wisdom, then this becomes real for us, become our own. That's when you become a sotapanna. you see the real truth within yourself, the real Four Noble Truths. Before that, you just see it from listening from other people. They're not real yet. We call them memory. Sometimes you forget after a while. You listen, you read about Four Noble Truths, and if you don't think about it for a while, it can be forgotten. But the Four Noble Truths you see within your mind itself, it will never be forgotten. It will always be within yourself all the time. Because you know, as soon as you start to as soon as you start to crave or get angry, you can see the dukkha arising inside your mind right away. And then you use wisdom or mindfulness to stop it. Stop your craving, then the dukkha will disappear. So the Four Noble Truths is actually inside us. Right now you don't see it because you keep looking at outside. You don't look inside. The only way to make your mind look inside is when you enter into jhana. That's why we meditate, to pull the mind inside. But the mind normally is being pushed outside by the defilement, by the craving, by the sensual pleasure craving. So we have to try to push the mind inside. If the mind comes inside, once it has to enter in jhana, then it will be able to see the Four Noble Truths happening in real time. When you crave for something, you can feel that you're feeling bad right away. If you stop that craving, then that feeling, that uneasy feeling will disappear. So right now we have to use borrowed wisdom first, borrowed wisdom from the Buddha, samadhi, right view from the Buddha by studying the teaching or listening to Dhamma talks. And then we have to practice. When we practice, then we will then bring the mind inside by mindfulness. And then when the mind comes inside, then when the mind starts to have any craving, you can see the mind becoming stressful or agitated right away. And you know this is the mind becomes agitated because you crave for something, you want something. When you want something, you cannot remain still, right? If you want to get up, you cannot sit still anymore. You have to get up in order to relieve the stress from all agitation from your desire to get up. But if you want to continue sitting, all you have to do is just stop your cravings. When you stop your craving, then the agitation in the mind will disappear, and you can continue sitting without having any agitation. So in order to be able to see the Four Noble Truths working all the time, you first have to bring the mind inside by the practice of jhana. That's why those people who already have jhana, when they listen to the Dhamma talk the first time, they can become enlightened. When the Buddha gave the Dhamma talk on the Four Noble Truths, one of the 5 ascetics become enlightened, become a Sotapanna. Because all 5 of them already have jhana. So they understand what the Buddha is talking about. He's talking about something that's happening right inside their mind, not something happening outside. Okay, so practice more mindfulness. Try to get into jhana. Then all the questions will be answered. We're not looking at our mind. We're looking outside. We're looking at the sensual objects. We're looking at people, images, sound, and we react to them. We're craving without knowing it. And when we are sad or when we are stressful, we blame the sensual objects for our stress, not our cravings, because we're not looking inside. When some people say something bad to you, you blame them for causing you to have bad feelings. You blame them for causing you to have dukkha. But you're craving for people to be nice to you, and when you don't get what you crave for, you become agitated or stressful. So you have to bring the mind inside by practice of mindfulness, pulling the mind away from the sensual objects. And when it gets into jhana, then it has entered into the mind. Then it will start to see all the things that happening in the mind, all the Four Noble Truths. Okay.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Dhammatalk. That's a good gift,
Okay.
New Year gift. That's real dumb. Thank you very much. Yeah.
How about you, Ramya?
Yeah, keep practicing, Ajahn, your teaching.
Okay. Yeah, mindfulness meditation. This is the first step to before you can get into enlightenment.
Yeah.
We have lots of wisdom already, but it's not real wisdom. It's borrowed wisdom. It doesn't belong to us. Okay.
Thank you. Wish you
You're
good health.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Okay, Sarasi from Geneva. Are you still in Geneva or are you somewhere else?
Yes, Ajahn. I'm in Geneva.
Okay.
Good evening, Ajahn.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good to see you.
Good to see you, Ajahn. Yes. I have a few questions today.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes. My first question is, pure mind of an arahant, does it always associate with the present moment, or does it at times recollect past life, previous experiences, past experiences, or recollect the past? Does it always associate?
The Arahant has full power over the mind, so it can direct the mind to go think about the past or the future or stay in the present. But an enlightened mind usually cannot control their own mind. Sometimes the mind just go into the past, sometimes go to the future, sometimes it stays in the present. But when an Arahant, he can control his mind to either go into the past, to the future, or stay in the present.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of control, really, in this talking.
Oh.
Mindfulness, if you have full mindfulness, you can control your mind.
Mm-hmm. So, which means when he's away from society in seclusion, he can his mind can go back to his, for instance, like childhood or anything like in the past.
Yes, if he wants to, he can go or go into the future even.
Mm-hmm. But without any defilements or any attachment.
That's
The
right.
difference.
That's the difference, and he can control what he wants to see or what he wants to think. Also.
Okay. Oh. Okay, Thanaja. My next question is about when we worship Sangha, does it include who have attained the path, who are in the path, Sotapanna, or just people who are in robes in totality, the Sangha? When we worship the Sangha, is it only the noble disciples of the Buddha who are at least Sotapanna, or people who are just in robes?
We respect everybody who's in robe. This is the usual normal practice, but we differentiate them between enlightened and unenlightened Sangha.
Okay.
So we have to choose who we should listen to, then we would want to listen to an enlightened Sangha rather than an unenlightened Sangha. But out of respect for those who are not yet enlightened, that they are on the path toward enlightenment. So you also want to respect them, worship them, in the sense that they are the one who will be the future enlightened Sangha.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So yes, normally since we cannot differentiate whether a monk is enlightened or not enlightened, we just pay respect because at least he's in robe and he's keeping the precept.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because
that's good enough. That's good enough to worship him, to pay respect to him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. For instance, like countries like Sri Lanka, there are monks who engage in politics, and also there are government appointments as teachers for certain Buddhist monks. So even it's okay to worship anyone, right? They are paid also by the government as a teacher, but they are in the Sangha.
Well, when you say worship, I mean, to me, worship means to show respect.
Okay.
But doesn't have to mean that you have to take them as your teacher.
Okay.
But when you see somebody who's in robe, you pay respect. You show respect that he's someone who aspires to something higher than you are. So you give the person the respect. But to treat them like your teacher or not, that depends on whether you have trust in that person, whether that person can teach you or not. So that's different. That's different.
Okay. And also, Thanajan, as we know that Buddha has advised to associate with the wise people. So while having a lay life and also when dealing with people from lay society, how can one identify people who are truly inclined to Dhamma, who are truly practicing Dhamma?
By the way they do by their action. If their action is within the bound of the 5 precepts, then they're a good person. If their action constitutes a lot of charity, helping other people, this is good person. If the action constitutes meditation and study of the Buddha's teaching, this is considered to be good person. This is how we judge people, good or bad, by their actions, according to the teaching of the Buddha. If they follow the teaching of the Buddha faithfully, then they are a good person.
Okay.
If they drink, if they gamble, if they, this is not good person from the view of Buddhism.
Okay.
If they cheat, if they lie, for instance, then this is not good. Even if they can get rich from lying or something, we don't think that this is a good person. Okay.
Okay, Thanajan. I wish you a very happy New Year, Thanajan, and I wish you good health and happiness.
Thank you. The
Really
same to
great.
you.
Thank you very much, Thanajan.
All right. Next, we'll go to Nita and Saket, still in California. When are you moving away?
Good evening, Thanajan. We are flying on 15th of January.
15th. Got 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks.
Okay. And back to India.
Back to India. Lot of we've made a lot of arrangements already. So
You have accommodation already waiting for you?
yes, we'll be renting an apartment close to Saket's parents' home.
Okay. Good. You have to try it. If it doesn't work, then you can always come back, right? Or you don't plan to come back at all? One-way ticket?
So far, we are thinking it's a one-way ticket, and we will go deep into meditation, and we will not have to come back to
Okay. But
material world.
what you imagine and reality can be different also. So make some room for that, so that you can don't become too disappointed when it doesn't work out. We don't know until we try it, right?
True.
Okay. So any question tonight from you?
I had a quick question, Ajaan. When we take the 5 precepts and then when we take the 8 precepts, so sexual misconduct is changed to
Abstinence, to abstinence.
Correct. And what is the what is the benefit or what is the advantage of abstinence?
You have time for meditation, then. If you spend time with sexual activity, then you won't have time to meditate. It's a different end of the spectrum. When you have sexual activity, you do a lot of thinking. Your mind is active. When you have abstinence, then your mind becomes less active. So it's easier for you to meditate. right? Just like other sensual pleasure action, going to rest, going to entertain, watching entertainment, singing, dancing. This is activity, okay, which opposes your practice of meditation. When you meditate, you want to still your mind, stop the action, stop the mental action. So you first have to stop the mental action that is caused by your cravings first. Then you have less action to deal with when you meditate.
Thank you, Ajahn. And also, yes.
Yes, also go ahead.
I was wondering, in the evenings, if we have like buttermilk or juice, is that okay for keeping the 8 precepts?
Well, there are some things that allow that you can drink. Fruit juices, you can drink fruit juices. But these fruit juices must not contain any matter. It has to be just fluid, just liquid. You have to strain all the solid part of the fruit from the juice. You can drink those, or you can drink things like tea, coffee. These are allowed for drinking in the if you keep the 8 precept, and you can drink it afternoon. After midday, you can drink this thing.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay, but if you want to be strict and don't want to be confused what you can drink and what you cannot drink, just drink pure water, plain water, because that's what the body needs when you drink. It needs food, it needs water. It doesn't need the drink with taste or smell, anything like that. So you want to be strict and be easy. Just drink water after you finish your meal after midday. Then don't drink anything else, but just plain water if you're thirsty. Because if you want to drink some other thing, it usually means your craving, your sensual pleasure craving is still working. So to suppress this sensual pleasure craving, just drink pure water, plain water. And go through the pain, because you need the pain to gain the spiritual benefit.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Or else you'll be stuck with this, with drinking this and drinking that, and you become attached to it. And it's still part of your sensual pleasure craving. So when you meditate, when you practice, you want to give up your craving for sensual pleasure altogether. So anything that constitutes sensual pleasure, you should try to avoid it. But your defilement, your sensual craving, pleasure, tend to find excuses to drink them, to consume them.
Yes.
So to get rid of all sensual pleasure craving, just drink plain water. After midday, that's all the body needs, is plain water. It doesn't need fruit juices. It doesn't need honey. It doesn't need sugar or tea or coffee. These are all sensual pleasure. Still, better find pleasure from meditation. If you feel you're not happy, meditate. Try to meditate. The more you meditate, the more you become happy. Then you won't need to have any sensual objects to keep you happy. Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn.
So don't be afraid of the pain from abstinence. It's beneficial in the long run for you when you abstain from things, when you abstain from sensual pleasures. It might be painful at first, but as you advance in your practice, then they will not be painful after you get used to it. Okay. How about you, Nita? Any question?
I do have a question, Ajahn. So a few days ago, I had this very strange dream, Ajahn. And then basically Saket and I were driving, and then it just became pitch dark, and Saket stopped the car, and then there was a gunshot at the driver's spot. And with that sound, I woke up and I realized that my whole body is numb. I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. And I just was observing my body, and I could see the numbness, I could feel it, I could feel that it's all frozen. And there was fear, I was terrified. And I just started chanting Buddho, and I realized that I should chant Itipiso.
Yes, you need to bring your mindfulness back. See, you lose your mindfulness. Your mind has been consumed by the dreams that you were in. You become so involved with the dream that you lose the mindfulness to control your mind. So it acts on your body. So try to bring mindfulness back by reciting Buddha, Namo, Sangho, or do some chanting. After a while, then the mindfulness will be back, and then everything will be back normal again.
Yes, I did observe that after some time, it became normal, and I could move.
Yes.
Then I was thinking maybe I'm not still ready for, like we keep chanting, Piyehi Sampayogo Dukho. We will lose our loved ones, but I kept thinking maybe I'm not ready for it. And I was like, how can I be ready for it?
You have to practice more mindfulness and meditation. The calmer your mind becomes, and the easier for you to let go. Your defilement is still too strong for you to stop them, because your mindfulness is not strong enough yet. So you have to practice more mindfulness and more meditation until you can still the mind and stop the mind completely. Once you can do that, then you will not have any feeling of aversion for having to lose someone you love. When you have full equanimity, then you just remain still and say, what can you do? If he's got to be gone, what can you do? You can cry, you can do whatever you want, but it's not going to change anything anyway, right? So the best way is to protect your mind from suffering by keeping the mind still, by accepting the reality, the truth of life, that we are all here temporarily. One day we all will have to go our separate ways. Whether you like it or not, that's what's going to happen. If you like it, then there's no problem, right? If you don't like it, then there's problem. So you have to change your dislike into liking by accepting. When you accept the truth, then you will feel fine, you feel comfortable. So practice more mindfulness, meditation, so that you have equanimity. Once you have equanimity, then your mind will not react to anything. It will be just merely accepting or acknowledging. Okay?
There was another thought which came into my mind at that time, Ajahn, and I thought I'll ask you for guidance. It's like, so there was this aversion towards the person who did the gunshot also, and then I remembered the simile of the saw by Buddha, in which he says that even if somebody is cutting your limbs, and if you have the slightest aversion towards that person, then you've not understood my teaching. And I was thinking, how is this possible, to not have aversion, to not have ill will towards the person who's harming you?
Because if you have equanimity, whenever you have aversion, you're creating dukkha for yourself. See? So you have to see the pain or the damage done by your aversion. You're hurting yourself when you have aversion for other people. See? When you're angry at other people, you're hurting yourself because your mind becomes agitated, unhappy. If you're not angry at other people, then your mind remain calm and peaceful and happy. So you have to look at whatever you do, it affects yourself more than affecting other people. It hurts you more than hurting other people. That's why Buddha teaches us to forgive. See? If we forgive, then we can stop the aversion or the anger. And then the pain from anger or the aversion will not appear in our mind. This all comes back to being able to bring your mind inside, see, to see the dukkha created by your cravings or aversion. So you need jhana, equanimity, to be able to see these things happening. When you have equanimity, it's like a quiet pool, no ripples, pool of water. And when you have agitation, you can see when you see people jumping into the pool, and the water becomes disrupted. The water becomes agitated. The mind is like the pool of water. When you have equanimity, the mind is like a quiet, peaceful pool. Nobody swimming, nobody jumping into the water. But when you have people jumping, swimming in the water, the water in the pool becomes rough. It has waves and all sort of action. So you first have to get the mind to equanimity when it becomes perfectly still. And then when anything happens, you can see the ripples rising from the still mind. Then you know that these ripples are not good for the mind because they hurt the mind. Right now you cannot see this because you cannot look. You're not inside your mind yet. You're outside. Your defilement sends you outside toward the sensual objects. So you cannot understand the Buddha's teaching yet. When he said that if you have aversion, you don't understand his teaching. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ajahn, for your guidance.
You're welcome. So just keep on practicing mindfulness and meditation. Be patient. Just keep doing it. That's like planting a tree. It takes time for it to grow. It doesn't grow one day and become full tree. It takes years and years sometimes. All you have to do is keep watering the plant and just be patient. One day the plant will grow into a tree and bear fruit for you. Okay. Next, I'll go to Dick Yenso from Penang.
Ajahn, wish Ajahn Happy New Year and stay healthy. Yeah.
Thank you. You're
welcome.
Okay. How about Christine Koe? Christine Koe.
Good evening, Ajahn. Happy to see you again. I come in to pay respect to you only. No question. I'm so good. I mean, so far so good.
Okay, good. Next, Alex Turpin. Alex, is this your first time joining us?
Hello, Ajahn. No, this is my second time. I believe we've spoken before. Yes, I hope you're well. And I just wanted to say thank you for all your teachings. You've given me a lot of direct and useful and practical advice and very straightforward advice. So thank you. And I have a book of some of your question and answers that I keep on my desk. And whenever I'm feeling uninspired or unmotivated, I will read maybe a paragraph or a page, and it really instills a sense of motivation. So thank you. One of the things that I found particularly helpful is that you recommended, I believe you recommended as an alternative to Buddha to do Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. And I've done that, and I find it very useful. And I find that when I'm practicing mindfulness, if I do Buddha, I tend to get bored or distracted quite easily, but I like the variety of doing the Namo Tassa and so on. I find that to be much more beneficial. But I'm still finding it very, very difficult to be mindful. I've been having a lot of ill will towards a particular person recently who's been behaving very unskillfully in a number of different ways. And it feels that whenever I try mindfulness by doing chanting or by doing Namo Tassa and so on, it just feels like self-torture almost. It feels very, very painful, and that person keeps coming up and coming up. And I don't know what to do about that, whether it's just a case of persisting, or I've tried a number of different things to try and I've tried focusing on this person's positive qualities. I've tried generating metta towards them. But it doesn't seem to be doing much, and I'm really struggling with that. And I know it's my own mind, it's my own reactions to my own perceptions of this person, but I don't feel I don't have the tools currently to be. It feels like I don't have the tools to be able to overcome this ill will. So if Tanajan has any advice, that would be most grateful. Thank you.
Well, your ill will comes from your desire for that person to be in a certain way toward you. When that person doesn't act according to your desire, you become angry at that person.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to look at, you cannot force that person to be the way you want that person to be. See? You have to look at that person like you're looking at the weather. Can you force the weather to be according to what you want? You want it to be sunshine all day, no rain today. You cannot do that, right? So people are like this. People they are like the weather. They are not under your control. So you just have to accept them for what they are. If they want to be bad to you, let them be bad to you. If you can accept this, then you would have no desire for them to be good to you. When you don't have this desire for them to be good to you, when they're bad to you, you don't feel bad toward them. You don't have any ill will. You can take them as they are, whatever they are. If they want to be bad to you, that's fine. If they want to be good to you, that's also fine. But you cannot force them to be good to you or expect them to be good to you. When you expect and when you don't get what you expect, you can become angry or sad.
Sometimes
the Buddha says everything is anatta. People are anatta. They're like the weather. Sometimes they can be good. Sometimes they can be bad.
It's strange because there are people who have treated me far worse than this person, who've been outright abusive, and it hasn't bothered me in the same way. It hasn't bothered me nearly in the same way. I think it's passive aggression and indirect and just rude tone that bothers me a lot. And sometimes it feels that it almost bypasses my thoughts and goes straight to the emotion, and it's the emotional state in my head that I find, and it's the tension that I find most unpleasant. It's not actually the person, I don't think. It's the feelings that they elicit in my own mind.
That's right. It's something maybe it come from the past. It's been embedded in your mind. When you come across something like this, you will have this type of reaction toward that. So you just have to tell yourself that the only way you can do it is just to accept them for what they are.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. Do we finish soon?
No, you have anything else to say? Go ahead.
Oh, I see. I just don't want to take up too much time. That's all, because I reckon. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
So I just wanted to say I've been thinking about charity also, and I've been thinking about the best. I find I find the Buddha's teachings on charity to be very direct and very clear and very motivating, especially when he talks about the different factors that influence the merit that will result. So, for example, the intentions of the person before they, give a gift, and the spiritual quality of the person they're giving it to. So a virtuous person would give more merit than giving to an unvirtuous person, and so on. And I find that very specific. So I'm very motivated to do charity work, and I do work for a charity. So the question I have in my mind is not, should I do charity or should I not do charity? The question I have in my mind is, how should I spend what little time I have each day? How much of that time should I allocate to helping other people? How much of that time should I spend on meditation? How much of that time should I spend on mindfulness, and so on? Because one only has so many hours in the day. And it seems to me that some of these things tend to be in conflict with each other, because one only has so much time. So that's my first question on charity. My second question on charity is that we live in a world now where we can, with the click of a button, go on various charities' websites and just donate money, okay? And so, for example, I could spend some time helping an individual as best I can by giving them money and food and support and so on. Or I could spend that same amount of time and money donating to a charity that helps many, many more people, maybe 100 people or 1,000 people. And in your view, and according to the teachings of the Buddha, which is a more fruitful use of my time if I'm interested in helping out other people? Is it to help people out individually in a one-on-one setting? Or is it to, for example, go on my computer and spend that same amount of time and money helping lots of people who I don't have direct contact with? Thank you.
Well, ideally, the Buddha said we first must help ourselves first. We have to do charity toward ourselves by devoting all the time that we have for our practice first, until we become enlightened. After we become enlightened, then we can devote all our time for charity.
Okay, but I thought charity was supposed to be the first point of the path, the foundation. It was charity, then ethics, then bhavana.
That's right. Here he means that you have to give up all your money and become a monk and practice precept full time. Like the Buddha, he gave up his wealth and became a monk. So he can practice, keep the precept and practice meditation until he became enlightened. Once he became enlightened, then he can do more charity by giving Dhamma instead of giving money to other people. Because Dhamma is more precious than money.
Yes. So if I've understood you correctly, am I right in thinking that the best way to devote, the best use of my time is towards Dhamma and practicing bhavana rather than money to charity?
Yeah, that's right. And if you want to become a monk, you have to give up all your money anyway. So you can do one-time charity, give it all up, and then you become a monk, and then concentrate on the practice of precepts and meditation and wisdom until you become enlightened. And after you become enlightened, then you have all the free time to help other people, teaching the Dhamma to them.
I see.
That's what the Buddha did. Look at the Buddha, for example. He gave up his wealth. Instead of remaining a prince, he gave up his princely status and become a beggar, become a monk. And then he can keep the precept and meditate and develop wisdom until he became enlightened. After he became enlightened, then he spent all his time teaching, helping other people to learn the Dhamma.
I see.
Okay.
Could I also ask about the 5 precepts, please, and the 8 precepts? So I wanted to. I've heard that one should never violate any of the 5 precepts under any circumstances, even if it meant dying. Is there any basis for that claim in the canon, in the Pali canon? I haven't been able to find one. The only thing I've been able to find along those lines is the Buddha saying to his son Rahula that one should never lie, even as a joke, and that for anyone who tells a deliberate lie, there is no evil that that person is incapable of. Now, that suggests that one should never lie under any circumstances, but I'm not aware of any teaching that suggests that or says that one should never, for example, steal under any circumstances, or that one should never kill under any circumstances. Would you mind sharing some of your insights on that, please?
Well, when you break the precepts, you're hurting yourself more than the benefit you get from breaking the precept. You might steal some money, and you might have used the money for your physical comfort, but you are hurting your mind because you're causing your mind to become less human. So that in the future, when you take rebirth, you might not be able to take a rebirth as a human. You have to take rebirth as an animal first. So it's not, the benefit doesn't worth the price you pay for. Instead of coming back and become a human in your next life, you might have to become an animal, become a dog first.
I see.
When you break the precepts. If you don't break the precept and you die, you still come back as a human. See, but if you break the precept and live for a few more days and die, you go and you become a dog before you can come back and become a human again.
I see. So am I right in thinking that even if one's life is at risk, one should never break any of the
That's
five?
right. Ideally, that's what you can do. If that's what you do, if you want to remain human.
But there are also, I believe, 10, I think it's called the Kammapada, the wholesome courses of action. And some of the precepts are included under those. Should one equally not violate any of those under any circumstances, regardless of whether one's life is at risk?
Those are the precepts to support your practice of meditation, see, to prevent you from doing other activities like sex, having sex or eating dinner, for instance. This can take away your time for meditation. So if you want advance in your meditation, then you want to stop other activities. And these are the precepts that will prevent you from doing other activities.
So like things like
eating after midday, for instance.
I was actually referring to, for example, harsh speech and divisive speech and frivolous speech. Should one avoid them under all circumstances, even if one's life is at risk, in the same way that you're saying that we should avoid violating any of the precepts?
Well, theoretically, it's better not to break any precept at all.
But
if you have any good reason and you want to break it, you're the one who's going to pay for the consequence of breaking the precept. So you have to decide for yourself. I cannot say anything.
Of course, yes. It's just, I mean, I do strive diligently to adhere to the 5 precepts. It's just the parts about, idle speech and frivolous speech and harsh speech I sometimes find difficult. And I believe the Buddha has engaged in what we might describe as harsh speech himself, especially to Devadatta, and possibly to a monk who I believe had sex with his wife. Which suggests that there are some circumstances where a person can behave in a harsh way if the benefit outweighs the downside. And I'm wondering why that's the case with harsh speech, for example, but it's not the case with lying.
Well, speech are driven by either Dhamma or by defilement. See? If you're angry, you usually have harsh speech. You speak bad words. So this is not good, because you want to stop your defilement. So you want to speak nicely, speak kindly, for instance. So this is the reason why you should speak good speech and not bad speech. Okay. Because bad speech is usually driven by your defilement, and good speech is not driven by your defilement. So when you're having good speech, you are not promoting your defilement. But when you're having bad speech, then you are promoting your defilement, which is the opposite of your goal. Your goal is to get rid of your defilement.
But could a person speak in a harsh way if it was beneficial and if it wasn't motivated by ill will?
Like the Buddha, sometimes he scolds at the monk for doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. Then it's just a matter of using the speech as a tool, but inside his mind, he has no ill will or anything toward that monk. But you
Right.
have to use harsh speech to sometimes to tame people.
That's what confuses me, because if I'm thinking, hang on, if the Buddha uses harsh speech as a tool in that situation, why could a person not use, for example, lying as a tool to avoid someone getting in trouble or avoid someone getting killed?
Well, because I don't know, maybe it's your defilement, it's your that's driving your reason for lying. See.
Okay. I don't personally believe, by the way. I just want to get it clear in my mind. It's not that I want to lie or anything like that. It's I want to understand.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
All right.
Tanajan.
You're welcome. Before we go to Nining, I have to take a few minutes break. Okay, I have to go empty my bladder. I'm sorry. I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah,
We'll continue with our conversation with Nining. Go ahead, Nining.
Ajahn, today I'm very happy. Ajahn, the more I practice, the more I energize, more powerful. Before I practice consistently and persistently, I get used to swimming. Now I prefer walking meditation to exercise. Can Ajahn suggest what else that I can do with my energy to improve my practice? I do charity, morality, and meditation consistently and persistently. In worldly path, if I do swimming, I can improve my metabolism, I can improve my health. But now I don't need swimming anymore. I become more healthy with this spiritual path. So I'm very happy and happy. Like 2 days ago, in the early morning, after doing the sitting meditation, I become so energized and powerful, and I'm not sleepy. And then I continue with walking meditation in my room, and then I said that it's enough. I have to go to sleep now. But at that time, actually, I still very overly happy and overly powerful and energized like that, Ajahn.
If you want to use your energy, do walking meditation. Do for many hours. It's good for your body also, and it's good for your mind at the same time. Walking meditation. Try see how many hours can you walk.
Oh, in the healthy reference, we have the maximum limit for walking, but in the Buddhism, is it any reference that I can walk until how long?
Walk until you feel that you're hurting your body, then you should stop.
Oh, I see. Because now I become so powerful, like joining this Zoom after listening to Philip that he said that he chose die over breaking the precept. I become happy and also more energized like that.
Yes, I heard some teacher teaches their student to walk for 4 or 5 hours at a time.
Oh, I
See if you
never.
can do that.
Yeah, I will try because lately I think that maybe tomorrow I should not eat for 3 days. Maybe I want to make my body weak, and I want to watch is I can still be mindful with that condition or not. Is it wise if I don't eat for 3 days to absorb my energy?
No, I don't think that's the way to get rid of your energy by not eating, you know. But if you can try it, if it works for you, that's okay. But I think by walking will lessen your energy. The longer you walk, then the less energy you will have. Eventually, you won't have any energy to walk. Then you stop.
Yeah, I will try that because after sitting meditation, I become so powerful that I feel that I can do anything, anything.
Okay,
like
try it. It might
yeah,
just be just imaginary, not real. After you walk for 1 hour, you might feel already tired and lose all your energy.
1 hour. I get used to walk for 1 hour.
Okay, try 2 hours. See how it turns out.
Okay, I will try. Ajahn, thank you for the suggestion. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Is that
Happy
all?
New Year.
Happy
Yeah,
New
Happy
Year.
New Year,
Okay,
Ajahn.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, go to Dubai. Aparachita.
Good evening, Prajan.
Yes, how are you?
I'm very well. I just wanted to thank you for all your teaching sessions for 2024, and just wanted to wish you Happy New Year for 2025.
Thank you. And the same to you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, nothing. Just
Okay.
yes.
Just keep on practicing, okay?
Of course, that's my
All right.
intention. Yes.
Good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome. Next, Alvin from Malaysia.
Namaskar, and Happy New Year. Oh, yes. I would like to thank Ajahn for all your teaching. For the last 4.5 years now. Thank you very much, Ajahn. Got one very brief question, Ajahn. I mean, whenever I hear of death, sometimes I feel sad. So I will remind myself by chanting that the verse Anicca Vata Sankhara. That would keep me more intact, rather
Calm
than
state,
getting
not
getting
reacting.
not reacting to it. In terms of reminding Tan Ajahn, just reminding ourselves about death. For children, it's like I just want to share this with Tan Ajahn and ask for your opinion. One of my child, she likes to do charity work, and once she went to old folks home, and she was shocked looking at the condition of people there. People are getting old, very frail, and some of them are almost almost the time is almost up, and she get really depressed. I mean, I wouldn't say depressed, upset when she comes back because of what she had experienced. Should I continue to encourage her to do this charity work organized by the school, or think for a child she should avoid this first? Wait until she understands more when she grows older.
You might have to talk to her first and explain to her that aging is part of life. See if she can accept it or not. That everybody will have to get old, like what she see. If she understands and she accepts, then she might not feel bad. But if she cannot accept and she feel bad every time that she see old people, then maybe it's not yet time for her to be exposed to this truth. So she might have to switch to some other type of charity. Maybe go help children and the disabled children, for instance. It depends, because it's a good sign to see old people. If she can take it, it means she have enough equanimity to accept the truth. Yeah. But if she doesn't have enough equanimity, then it's the defilement that will be the one who will give her the aversion, the feeling of sadness or pain when she sees old people. So it depends on her state of mind, whether she's strong enough to see this truth or not. If she's not yet strong enough, then maybe you should avoid her from going to see this thing first. Maybe when she grow up older, later on, and she see a lot of people that she know become old, then maybe her mind then may be able to accept the truth.
Maybe like packaging food for the homeless and things like this. Yeah, they got other activities as well.
That's right. Don't give up the work of charity, but maybe change the type of work, the charity work. Instead of going to old age people home, then you do some other type of charity.
I think it's a good idea. Thanks.
Okay, is that all?
Yeah, that's all. Thank you and Happy New Year, Tan Ajahn. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Sri and Jack from Vancouver.
Greetings, Tan Ajahn.
Greetings, Tan Ajahn.
Very long session today, and very fruitful
Quite a
conversation.
lot of interesting subject we discussed. So,
So much wisdom that you.
So our time we can extend or shorten, depends on the situation. I'm not going anywhere, so I can sit here and talk. But I have to go to the restroom first. This is the first time I have to break up the meeting and go to the bathroom. I don't know why today I cannot hold my bladder.
Oh, I thought you need a drink of water because you're speaking for 2.5 hours.
No, not that. I have to empty the water from my body. Not taking in. I have too much water.
I thought Tan Ajahn have to go and do countdown. Tan Ajahn, questions like, I found like if want to improve the mindfulness, sometimes I need to recite Budo Budo even while I'm doing something else.
That's right, you can do that. It will reinforce your mindfulness. Maybe just watching the body is not strong, it's not enough, then you can use Buddha as well together.
The mind is trying to prevent like this like delusion, trying to use the sankhara.
Yes, to go think about some other thing all the time. So by forcing the mind to look at the body is not enough. Then you have to use the mantra Buddha or do some chanting at the same time.
Yeah. And so eventually, like our mindfulness will be stronger, and then
Yes.
at one point
Then
that
you
we
can use one or the other.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good.
That's all,
Thank you,
Ajahn.
Tan
Thank
Ajahn.
you.
Thank you, Tan Ajahn.
Nothing from you. Nothing
No.
from Czech. No comment today. Huh?
It's too long. Okay. Give next time. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Next,
Tan.
Mike Sheffield from New York. Surprised that you were able to stay for this long, or you just came in?
No, I've been here, Tan Ajahn. Greetings. Yeah, I don't have work today because it is New Year's Eve, so I get to stay on the Zoom for longer. So I'm very grateful to be here. I wanted to start by saying thank you to you. It's been almost a year since I've been on these Zoom calls with you and everybody. So I'm very grateful that you accepted me into the Zoom community. I also wanted to say thank you to everybody else on the calls. You know, this is kind of my unofficial sangha in a lot of ways, and I really enjoy hearing everyone sharing their the updates on their practice and their questions, and it's just the vulnerability and the insight that I get from everybody's questions is really something I value very much, as well as John's teachings. So I just wanted to say thank you for both of those things. I'm very grateful for this. I guess I wanted to talk about perceptions today. I was recently came across a meditation practice on emptiness that kind of was similar to the perceptions that the Buddha gave to Rahula about you know, when he was first learning how to meditate, making his mind like earth. But in the meditation on emptiness, after making the mind like space, you also maintained a perception of looking inwards and seeing like infinite space inside of the mind. And I found this perception to be really useful and interesting to me. But then also the perception beyond that being this perception that's neither perceived nor not perceived. I kind of had a hard time, obviously, even trying to think about that. But I think that's kind of part of the point. So I guess I had two questions. One would be to what perceptions do you use in your meditation, or do you think perceptions can be useful to guiding our meditations? And then, yeah, if you had any insight on this, the perception of neither perceiving nor non-perceiving.
Well, perception, we use perception toward everything. What we see, what we hear, we perceive them for what they are. Like when we're watching the breath, we are perceiving the breath. Yeah. So it's just an object for our concentration. And if our mindfulness or concentration becomes stronger and stronger, we'll be able to perceive more things that is much more subtle. Things like perception, neither perceiving or not perceiving, or empty space, for instance. This requires stronger concentration on mindfulness. This is on the arupa jhana level. See? And we have two levels, rupa jhana and arupa jhana. Rupa jhana usually refers to some physical perception, like the breath or the mantra or the color. But when we have passed the fourth jhana, then we can use the non-physical perception of space, of consciousness, of perception, or neither perception. This is something that much more subtle than for people normally be able to understand. You have to get through the fourth jhana first before you will be able to understand this other type of perception, this more subtle type of perception. So don't worry about it. Right now, just get to the fourth jhana first, if you can. Then if you want to explore deeper, then you can use this other type of perception to bring your mind deeper and calmer inside. But you don't need it for the practice of wisdom or enlightenment. All you need is the fourth jhana to get to equanimity, so that you'll be able to stop your cravings. When you have investigated that the cause of your suffering is from your craving, then you can stop it. Without equanimity, you won't be able to. But anything above that doesn't give you any more equanimity than you can get from the fourth jhana. But it can make your mind much more peaceful, much more calm, much more subtle. So usually in the right concentration of Samma Samadhi, I think the Buddha only talk about the fourth jhana, develop up to the fourth jhana. But maybe with some people with special gift who are able to perceive something much more subtle than the fourth jhana, then he might teach them to perceive empty space or consciousness or perception or neither perception, for instance. If you read the quality of the arupa jhana, this is what they contain. Your perception of this consciousness of empty space. Okay. So you don't need to worry about them. But if you can use them to make your mind calm, that's okay also. You can use them as your meditation object.
They do help me to feel like I can let go of certain.
If you can imagine your mind in empty space and not and be able to stay there empty and not being disturbed by anything, then that's okay also. The goal is to make the mind calm, peaceful, and have equanimity. Equanimity is what we want from our meditation practice, so that we can stop the craving. Without equanimity, we won't have the strength to stop the cravings. When we realize that our suffering is caused by our cravings. Okay, anything else?
No, that's it, Ajaan. Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
By the way, you live in New York City?
In New York City.
Will you go to Times Square tonight?
No, I stay
No,
far
you
away
will
from
go. Just wonder. I wonder if every New Yorker will go to Times Square tonight.
No, that's for tourists, not for me.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So you mean a lot of people go to the countdown are not New Yorker themselves?
Yeah, it's people.
They're from other states. They're from other places.
Exactly.
Okay. You watch on television.
Yeah, I'll be at home.
Okay. Good. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
All right. Next, Diana. Anjali. Unmute your microphone. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, now it's unmuted now.
Navadaya Ajaan Suchart.
How are you today? Happy?
Always happy to, this is my chance to just have a sitting and listen to Dhamma. Somehow I find that in real time, it always feels stronger than a recording somehow. Although I really like recordings too.
Yes.
Yes.
What can I do for you tonight or today?
Yes. I keep working on my mindfulness. I think my mind has dropped its resistance to it. I think that will be helpful. I was able to make some space for practice, hopefully in this coming year, and pull away from some activities which felt and I thought I had to do. Yes. I think in the summer when I started joining your sessions, I was feeling very torn about still engaging in social activity and extra social activities for my daughter as a parent. Although they're not like extra social for us, they're just like social activities that the children would do through the school. And now this month, I've come to realization that what I thought she would miss if she wasn't participating was just my thinking. There wasn't much missing in it. So that's a big progress. Because, you know, nobody has the answer for that, right? Like lots of children, some children have a chance to go to shows and some children don't, just depending on what their socializing looks like during the week. If they get a lot of it from school or other activities. So I've reduced some of it, and now that I've participated in some of it mindfully, I realized that it was just like my own thinking that was feeling like she was getting the right development. So it frees me up to just kind of drop it a little bit more, which would leave me more time for practice. So that's a good thing. I really enjoyed the discussions today. If you could share more about this, somebody was asking about dana and how the idea is to give charity to yourself first in your own practice and in following the precepts more, like letting go of dinner. I feel I'm getting some benefits from that.
Well, see, according to the Buddha said we must give time for ourselves first. We have to make ourselves free from suffering first, before we can effectively help other people to be free from suffering. So the real charity is to help people, to make people free from suffering. But in order for us to make other people free from suffering, we have to know how to free ourselves from suffering first. So we have to devote all our time for ourselves first, to get ourselves free from suffering. Once we are free from suffering, then we will have all the time left to help other people to free themselves from suffering.
Another thing I wanted to ask you for guidance was like, when I become aware that like I'm feeling, I don't know how to properly say it in English, but like if I'm feeling hurt by this situation unintentionally or by this person unintentionally, I was able to acknowledge that like the situation of this person is not doing something like intentionally to me. And then I became aware that, oh, like, but I'm still feeling hurt by it. And through the practice of mindfulness, one time I was able to kind of pull out of that feeling recently. And like, if I'm moving in the right way, because just seems that feeling, that sankhara, has a strong hold over my mind for a lot of the times when I acknowledge and realize it. I am able to make progress with the forgiveness practice and the metta. It just appears like that, like I'm kind of sick and tired of the same reaction, so I'd like to just move on. But then I keep catching myself stuck in this pattern of, oh, well, there I'm feeling hurt again, but there's probably no need for it.
Well, the cause of your hurting yourself is your desire not to have to face this type of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you have to look at that. You cannot choose the experience you want to face or to have.
Mm-hmm.
They are like the weather. So you have, So you just have to teach your mind to be ready to accept any type of experiences that come to you, and you will not be hurt if you're ready to accept them. Like you're ready to accept the snow that is coming to you. You expect the hot weather that will come afterwards, and then you're not hurt by them. See, but if you don't want to face them, then when you have to face them, then you can be hurt. So the hurting is yourself, your own reaction toward things that you don't like to have.
Yes, yes. From 2 weeks ago, I remember I was reflecting on how you were saying that it's because I think of myself as the queen, and like just in that moment, somebody else's advice was to treat yourself as a rag. And to be honest, I haven't actually been able to make progress with that. I was able to make some relations, like let's say somebody in my family says something that I find hurtful. In that moment, even though I acknowledge that, okay, it's my own reaction, that's as far as I got. Then how to come out of it, right? Because then I don't like being stuck in it.
By just accepting that this is part of life, you sometimes have to come to face with things you don't like. You have no choice. And the way to prevent yourself from being hurt is just to accept them, like you're accepting the weather. They are like the weather. Look at them like the weather, not under your control.
How to get there.
Yeah, you cannot pick this type of experience. You cannot pick this type of situation. Situation just happen to develop.
Just to accept this this feeling I don't like.
That's right, because you cannot do anything else. If you don't like, you're hurting yourself.
By not liking more and more.
By not liking it, see, you're reacting negatively toward it. So you want to stop your negative reaction by just accepting that this is something that you cannot control, unavoidable, like the weather.
Is there any trick to kind of be able to do that?
Yes, you need to practice more equanimity.
More. So fourth jhana again.
Yeah, fourth jhana. Or if you are under that situation, then you can use mindfulness by reciting mantra or do some chanting. Chanting Namo Tassa Bhagavato, like the other person who just mentioned earlier. If you cannot use just one word, then you can do some longer chant.
In that moment or
thereafter? Yeah, in that moment when you're feeling hurt.
To just, okay.
To bring the mind back to some equanimity.
Okay. And I guess the last thing I was thinking, could you go over the progress in practice, like from the first to the fourth jhana, like what the progress looks like?
Well, I'm sorry, we don't have much time for that.
Okay. I see.
But you can read in the text. Just search on Google for jhanas, and they will come up and tell you the different type of experiences you get in different jhana. Okay. I'm sorry, we're running out of time.
Yeah, it's
You have a lot of other people left. Okay. All right. Maybe next time. But I myself cannot tell you all the details because it's not necessary to know them really. All you need to do is to get to the fourth jhana and skip the first, second, and third jhana. It doesn't matter.
Okay. That's great that it's possible. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens real quickly you go from 1 to 4, like falling from a high building and down to the ground floor.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next, Kanan or Kanan, how are you? How do you spell your name? Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Ajaan. Can you hear me?
Yes. How do you spell how you pronounce your name?
It's Canon.
Cannon.
Yes.
Like cannonball, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What can I do for you?
Yeah, this is my first time joining Zoom Live. So I just want to ask a question. I'm just starting to practicing meditation, and I'm trying to be more mindful throughout the day. And I've been like practicing like for 30 minutes, and I find that after 30 minutes, my body starts to, you know, getting agitated. So how do I kind of like,
What do you do when you meditate? Do you watch your breath or do you use a mantra?
I chant Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto.
Okay, did you stop chanting after that? When your body
Yeah,
starts to
then
feel
right.
Yeah.
So I start watching my breath, but then I like my mind would not let me, you know, stay like my body wouldn't stay still
then you
because I
have to
guess
do
my
more you have to do more chanting.
yes.
It means you don't have enough mindfulness to control your mind and your body. So you have to generate more mindfulness by chanting or reciting the mantra. Because just watching the breath itself is not enough. It's not enough mindfulness to stop the mind from agitating. So you have to use the mantra or some chanting. Keep chanting until the mind becomes still or the body becomes still. Don't stop chanting.
Oh, gotcha. So how if my body does like my body feel like it wants to move, like my mind can go longer, I guess, to in meditation, but my body does not allow me to do that.
Ignore
So
the
how can
body. Ignore the body. Just concentrate on your chanting.
okay.
The body cannot move without the mind instruction. If the mind doesn't tell the body to move, the body cannot move. If the body is moving, it means the mind actually is telling the body to move. That means you don't have enough mindfulness to stop the mind from directing the body to move. So you need to do more chanting, do more mindfulness. Okay, try it, see how it works.
Thank you, Kanajay.
Okay, is that all?
Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. Nice to see you, and hope maybe you can come back and join us again.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah. Happy New Year to you.
Okay, thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you.
Next, Lavan from California.
Hi, Ajaan. I have a question. How can I lessen the fear of dying?
Well, you need mindfulness and wisdom to be able to lessen your fear of dying. First, you use mindfulness to calm your mind, to have equanimity, so that when you think about that, you will not react negatively toward death. But whenever you lose your equanimity and when you think of that, you can become fearful again. If you want to be totally, completely not fearful of death, you have to develop wisdom by studying the nature of the body as being anicca, is temporarily. It rises and one day it will cease. This is the nature of the body, anicca, rise and cease. Anatta, not under your control. The body is part of a natural process that you cannot control. And the body is not you. You're not the body. You're the user of the body. You're the mind who uses the body. So this is what you have to learn to teach yourself to understand so that you can let go of your attachment to your body. To know that you don't die with your body. You continue on in the spiritual form.
But before I get there, I can intellectually remind myself that
That's right. You need to use intellectual first. And then when you come to face to face with some fear, then if you can suppress or eliminate your fear, then it means you have real wisdom. You can truly see, or you can truly accept that this body is not you, doesn't belong to you. Right now, you can only accept it intellectually, but not experientially. You have to get into a situation in which you might have to lose your body. Then if you use wisdom to teach your mind that this is not your body and you're going to have to lose it. And if you can see it truly and accept it, then you let it go. When you let go of the body, then your fear will disappear. And then after that, you will no longer have any fear of death again.
Also, another question is, as human beings, can we really control our destiny?
To a certain extent, you can choose the path you want to go. You can go the path of skillfulness or unskillfulness. Go the path of good karma or bad karma. But sometimes you have to force because there might be some resistance in your mind by your defilement or by your own previous habit. If you used to do bad habit, then you will have resistance when you want to try to break the bad habit, to form a new habit. But if you persist, you will win. You can change your habit from bad habit into good habit. From not keeping the precept to keeping the precept, for instance. This you can choose.
A last question is in terms of lying. Like nowadays, there's a lot of people that try to scam others, like by asking them, for instance, like, oh, what's your like sensitive information? So we can protect ourselves by not revealing that, and that is not lying. Is that
No,
correct?
you're not telling any falsehood. You're just not giving the truth. That's all.
Mm.
Like if somebody asks you something and you're not saying anything, you're not lying. You're just
Okay.
not saying anything.
Because I'm thinking we can protect ourselves, but we're not disclosing it. It's okay.
That's right. It's like not saying anything. When somebody asks, "What's your name?" you just smile.
Okay. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you for your.
Okay, you're welcome. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Okay, Gary from Singapore.
Happy New Year, Ajahn. I have no
Yes.
questions, just happy to be listening in.
Okay, how about you, Belinda? Any question?
Ajahn, 10 more minutes till 12 o'clock. I like to seek for forgiveness to the Triple Gem and everyone in the Zoom community that intentionally or unintentionally they are hurt. I
Okay.
dare not speak about resolutions because I know the mind has a very strong resistance, Ajahn. So I'm afraid the mind sabotage the mind, Ajahn. Sometimes I find that if I make some goals and then it's the very same mind would sabotage. Could Ajahn, like, is it something that we?
Before you set up a goal, you have to know you have the ability to do it or not. If you don't have the ability, then don't set up that goal yet. Set up something that you know that you can do, so that you will then will not be excusing yourself for not doing the thing that you should be doing. So if you don't set up the goal, then you don't have to do it, right? Even though if you can do it, but you don't do it. But if you set up the goal, then you know you have to do it. That's the purpose of setting up the goal, to force you to do something that you can do, but you don't want to do.
It's the same mind, Ajahn. Like it's the same mind wanting to do it. It's the same mind that would resist, and then yes,
Well,
it's the same thing that is like swirling.
there are two forces
same
inside
mind.
your body, the Dhamma and the defilements.
Yes,
They are opposing each other.
So sometimes I keep quiet, no? I don't want to tell the mind. And then it's just have a mind like, hey, yeah, there's something I do. I do not want to. I don't know what's the better strategy, Ajahn. It's like we won't know whether we can do until the times arrive.
No, sometimes you know you can do, but you just don't want to do it.
Yes, it's the same. Yeah, and then when the defilement means there's a demotivation.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
defilement wants to not do it because your defilement wants to do. You still want to break the precept, for instance.
Yeah, I just like, oh, I just want to eat, like no dinner. So like, yeah,
Like
it's quite
you don't want to go through the pain. That's all. But
yes,
you know
that's
you can
like,
do it if you really want to, you can do it. But you don't want to do it because you don't
yeah,
want to face the pain of keeping the precept.
yeah. I try to find a way to see how the mind works.
But if you look at the benefit that you might get from keeping the precept, then you might be willing or ready to pay the price to go through the pain in order to get the benefit from keeping the precept. So it's like buying stuff. You have to pay. You just don't get for free. There's no free lunch in real life. Everything you have to work hard for it. Every good thing you need working hard for it. It don't come easily. Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. I think we have a few more minutes for question from home, from email.
กับนมัสการท่านอาจารย์ค่ะ We have 5 questions this evening, and they're all from Facebook. The first question is from Pauline Soon. Can monks allow to share politic issues and other conceptual issues with his disciple?
Now, usually monks are supposed to talk only about Dhamma. No worldly subjects to discuss, because it doesn't bring the mind to peace and happiness. It will keep agitating the mind and making the mind more restless and agitated.
The next question, what are the benefits of listening to Dhamma that can help meditation?
Well, when you listen to Dhamma, you will learn how to meditate properly. If you don't study the Dhamma, then you will know the proper way of practicing meditation. So that's one of the benefits, to know the right way from the wrong way.
The next question is from Louisiana Doyle. Wandami and Happy New Year, Tanajan from USA. When I meditate, I feel like sometimes I stop breathing or my breath is on hold for longer time than normal. Is this normal? Thank you, Tanajan.
It doesn't matter whether it's normal or not normal. Your job is just to observe and to accept it for what it is. Don't question it. You don't want to think. You want to stop thinking. You just want to be observing, that's all. Whether the breath is long or short, forced or subtle, just accept the truth of the breath. Don't have to question it.
The next question from Louisiana. Would you please explain how the Buddha teach Bhante Anuruddha to develop the divine eyes?
I think this comes from his previous lifetime. This is something he has developed previously.
And the last question is from Ricardo from Uruguay. Happy New Year, Tanajan. Best wishes to you and administrators. There's a simple question. What is the difference between Sampachanya and Sati? Thank you for all your wise teachings.
Well, Sati is mindfulness. Mindfulness that is still lapsing. It comes on and off. This is mindfulness. But with Sampachanya, I mean mindfulness is continuous. Continuous mindfulness is called Sati Sampachanya. Okay?
That is all.
I think that's about all for the time we have for tonight. Thank you for your participation, your company. I hope this meeting is beneficial for you and can help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please stay safe, be mindful, and keep on practicing. And if all goes well, I'll see you all at the same time next week. Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Tan Ajahn.
Yeah,
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Admin,
Happy
thank
New Year,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank
New
you
Year.
to
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Annie.
Bye.
Thank you.